Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a special edition of our Darkest Dungeon series. Today we're going to go through the upcoming changes to Darkest Dungeon that Red Hook put on their website. So there's a few things that are quite interesting. We'll start from the top of the list here. So they've got hero color variants are coming, which would be kind of interesting because having multiple classes, like you can have multiples of each of the classes, so to differentiate them will be kind of interesting because you can rename them as it is, which is nice, but now you can assign them to different colors, which would be great too. The other thing they've got is town events, and they haven't expanded on what this means exactly for the game, but there are certain town events that I've seen happen so far. One of them is that sometimes your characters will take off on a, say, personal quest for a week or two. The other ones are that, sometimes when you put your character into stress healing, they will lose some money for you, or they'll gamble a trinket and lose the trinket. Things like that, I guess, are probably considered to be town events. I'm not positive. We don't have any details on that just yet. They have Kickstarter backer trinkets and monsters, which will be a welcome change. We always want variety in these types of games, but they haven't released any details on that just yet. There are 5 new playable classes coming. The first one is Man-at-Arms, and we've known about the Man-at-Arms for quite some time. It's not a new thing, but we don't have any further details on what it's going to be. Just a small little portrait of it, and it looks to be at this time some sort of a melee damage class, or it could be a tank class. I don't know. It's hard to tell from just the little thumbnail. The second one is the Arbalist. And from the monsters in the Ruins dungeon, I think it's the Skeletal Arbalist. We probably have a pretty good guess that this is going to be a crossbow or an archer type of a character. The third one is the Houndmaster, and all I can think of in this instance is that he's going to have a pet. That he'll have some sort of a dog attack or a pack of dogs attack or something like that. The other one is, or the fourth one is a Merchant. I don't know how this fits into the current game to have a merchant along with a battling adventure party, but perhaps he has some abilities. This is pure speculation here, that he has some abilities that maybe increase the loot output of a dungeon or something like that, with some basic melee attacks to make him not completely useless for a fight. Lastly, there's one called Lord Tyr, and this is apparently a Kickstarter backer designed class available to everybody, not just Kickstarter supporters. And they said see Kickstarter page, so I went to Kickstarter page and there was pretty much no details on it whatsoever, so we're still kind of in the dark on that. The most exciting changes I think that are coming though are to do with the dungeons themselves. And first of all, there's for the existing dungeons, we've seen that they have a boss progression. So say, Swine Prince, Swine King 2, and Swine King 3, level 1 through 5 of the forms of those bosses. Now it looks like there's going to be a final boss for each of the dungeons. So the Weald is getting a boss called the Brigand Barricade. The Ruins is getting a boss called the Gibbering Prophet. The Warrens dungeon is getting a boss called the Formless Flesh. Looking forward to seeing what those are. I'd imagine that you progress through the intermediate boss 1, 2, and 3, and then you get to the final boss. But again, the speculation. We don't have any details on it just yet. Lastly, there is the addition of the new dungeon called the Cove. So they've mentioned that this will contain a full set of themed monsters, and I don't know what the theme would be at this point. Maybe some sort of amphibious type creatures or something along those lines. There's going to be some new curios, the interactive objects, and likely maybe some new key items or ways that the existing key items are used on these curios. And then they're going to have Cove Boss 1 and Cove Boss 2, and that's all they've said so far. So I would imagine it'll follow along the same lines as the other dungeons, where you've got your first level boss and third and fifth level boss, and then the final boss as well. So that's it for the notes today, guys. It's kind of an interesting set of notes because of the new additions of the dungeons and the new bosses. The classes will be a welcome change, so it looks like they're really trying to shake the game up at this point. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to playing it because the game is kind of in a bit of a stagnancy right now. So anyway, guys, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more of the Darkest Dungeon No Torches playthrough series. Bye-bye.